thanks for having me. So yeah, my name is Daniela Furtado. I'm from here, from Toronto, but I've been, as I was telling you guys about my life story, I've been outside of Canada for about 6 years. So I just moved back, and I've been doing digital marketing for 4 years. So I started off in social media, did online ads, and now I specialize in SEO. And I'm in the transition of starting my own SEO agency. So I'm really happy to be here. I want to know about you guys. It's a small group, so I think we can quickly introduce ourselves. Okay, so we're going to be talking a lot about, it's going to be an overview. So I want to help you think like a marketer and think about the strategy. We're not going to go into the nitty-gritty detail of each marketing channel. I'm going to give an overview of it, but I really want you to get in the right mindset so that in the second part of this workshop, when we work in groups and do a three-month marketing strategy, you can spend a lot of your time focusing on that, helping each other out, and I'll come along and to each group and give my 2 cents. You can ask me questions. And throughout this entire workshop, if you have any questions, feel free to just raise your hand and ask away.
So the in-depth ones will come like starting next week?
No, probably. I find with my clients, I find that I can start giving the overview, but then your brain start working, you can start generating ideas, and that's when you get into depth, is when you ask questions that are specific to your business. And I want to mention this right now, is that even if you're not making money from your blog, I want you to start thinking like a business, because that's the difference between a hobby blog and a business blog, right? Is that you have a product or service that you're selling, and people are paying you for it. So I want you to get into that mindset. I'm going to talk a lot, I'm going to use a lot of business terms, because I see you as business owners and not just hobby bloggers. So what is marketing? The other day, last week actually, I was on the couch with my parents, and I was like, I'm thinking about starting. I just moved back from Spain, just to let you know. So last month I moved back from Spain to Toronto. I'm moving here permanently. And so my parents were like, are you going to get a full-time job? You're going to work in corporate? I'm like, I don't know. I think I want to start my own agency. And my mom is like, Daniela, what about your pension? And if you get unemployed and if you get sick, what are you going to do? And my dad is like, shut up, Maria. Like, let her do her own thing. She's like my father. She's got that eye, whatever that means. and then the next day, so he's giving me this pep talk, right? Start your own business, be a businesswoman. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it. So the next day, I'm in my room, I'm typing away, and my dad comes in and he's like, so Daniela, you're going to start this business, right? I said, yeah. He's like, what is it? This whole time you're like, yeah, start your own marketing agency, and you didn't even know what that was. So my question for you is, how would you describe to someone like my dad what marketing is, let alone digital marketing?
Educating a prospective customer about your product or service and the benefits to them to enhance the ability for them to purchase.
Okay, so what if your product is crap? Do you still market it?
Well, my product is freaking awesome, so I don't know how to respond to that.
Yeah. So I would describe marketing as the art and the science. So there's a creative aspect, but there's also quite a bit of data and an analytical side to it, of pushing and pulling your clients or your customers to your product. So, here we go. And when we say digital marketing, it's doing this with digital means, right? So traditionally, we did this with radio, billboards, print, mail order advertisements, and now we can do that with social media, email, websites, online ads, affiliate links. There's so many different ways, and there are new ways being invented every day, right? And so we can say digital, online, or internet marketing, all of them mean the same thing. I tend to just say digital marketing, but I might use it interchangeably. So I think it's important to talk about product, right? So I really believe that good marketing I really believe that the difference between good and great marketing is like the difference between a fuckboy and a husband material. So for those that don't know, a fuckboy is a guy that is...
Jesus.
Am I reading this right?
Oh,
Let's
show you on
hear the
that'll be on Wicked
I'm
email
26.
too.
Yeah, for those of us who are married.
This is my day-to-day conversations.
I'm going to be reading my
I didn't know we needed an X-rated label for this workshop.
It's called the fucking digital marketing, so I had to stay on
Fair enough.
Okay, so your father proofread this, right?
So a fuckboy, he looks handsome, he's got his hair done, he's got style, he knows all the right things to say. But deep down, his intentions are he's got bad intentions, right? He tells you that he loves you, but he really doesn't. And why? Because he wants something from you. And so, whereas a husband, I mean, I don't want to say that looks don't matter, they do, but he might not be the best looking. In marketing, this is important. You have to have good branding.
You're overly romanticizing this, obvious.
But at its core, a husband is suitable for you. It's a life partner, someone that you can build a future with, and it's in marketing, it's a good product. And so I think the difference between good marketing and great marketing is that good marketing can sell something to you. They can take your money, but it may not actually be the best product out there. They're just good at talking, essentially. Whereas great marketing, the selling is good, the branding is great, but also the product. And the business, as business owners, have put a lot of time into continuously improving your product to make sure that it's the right fit for your clients. And it's not just something you do before you're married, it's something before you have a sale. It's something you're constantly doing, constantly evolving. And so I think it's important to think of your products and your marketing exactly like this. So your product development, when you create, this is a platform or a software?
It's actually a physical hardware device.
Okay, so when you build a physical hardware device, when you're building your ebook, your online course, whatever it is, don't just stop after you sell it. Constantly improve it. Constantly get feedback from your audience and integrate them. Keep making better versions. And we're going to spend quite a bit of time talking about this right now. So because half of your marketing is retaining your customers. And you do that by having an incredible product. So marketing, product development should be quite intertwined. And traditional marketing is not like that. Yeah.
So this kind of nice segue into this, retaining your customers. If you're marketing to the fat boy, you're only looking at probably a one-off, right?
Yeah.
One purchase. You're looking for the husband who's going to be with you for a long, extended period of time.
It's a good analogy, right?
Somebody gets it.
Yeah, and then we can talk about referrals. How do you get people back? How do you maintain a relationship with them? How do you nurture those clients? These are like marketing terms, but yeah, how do you be a good wife or a husband?
I have a question. So what if your product is not in your control? So for example, you're marketing for a company, but the product is not made by you. So does that mean that half of the marketing is not in your control?
So no. It's a good question. I have a challenge with the clients right now with this, and which just brings me exactly to my next point: is that a good marketer knows their place. A good marketer knows this is not a good product. We're going to waste all of our time and energy marketing something that in the long run is not going to sell. And I mean, it's tough. Like with this client, the product doesn't even exist. It's like half-assed, and we're trying to sell to everyone, but it's a large company, and so at the end of the day, I need to pay my bills. So I'm going to do the best job that I can. I'm going to try to apply, my new age marketing philosophy where I can. But when it's not your company, it's hard. Yeah. But when it is your company, that's when I say, when you're developing your product, a lot of companies, they want, as soon as the product is developed or they have something, they want to market and sell it right away. When in a lot of cases, you should just focus on creating a perfect product and getting a few customers, ones that are going to be loyal fans, and having a close relationship with them. Evernote is an example. Evernote, the program, is an example of this. I think they didn't do any marketing for the first 3 years they were in business. They just focused on getting product customer feedback and then improving their product over and over and over and over again. They would go through sprints. And then after 3 years, they started to actually have a marketing budget and a marketing team. But for a long time, it was just making sure that the product was awesome. Especially if I say this a lot when I do workshops on online ads. If you're online, if you don't know your audience and if your product's not good, you're wasting your money. you gotta go back to the drawing board. And so this is what I said about content creators. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about market research. How do you understand your audience a little bit better? How can you improve your products? What kind of processes and systems can you put in place? So your audience, we can call them customers, your target market, your target clients, your avatars, your users. There are tons of names for this. Today I'm going to say audience. And so what you constantly want to do is do your market research. Before you launch, while you launch, after you launch, and when you launch again. And so you want to ask yourself these three main questions to your customers, to your audience. What do you want? What are you struggling with? What do you need help with? What do you want? What brought you to us? Where are you online? So then you can interpret this question in two ways. Where are you online? Where do you spend your time? Where can I find people like you? Or, who are your friends that are referring you to us? Or what brought you to us could also be, what is it about us that stood up to you? Why are you drawn to us? You can interpret this question in two ways. And the last question, what's missing? What are some flaws with my product or service or my brand or my messaging? What's holding you back from referring me to your friends and your family members? So you constantly want to ask yourself this question. And the way you can ask these questions are by doing surveys, studying your analytics, asking for feedback, or encouraging conversations. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each one. So we're small businesses, you may not have money to do market research. That's fine. There are ways around this. So when I had a friend that wanted to develop a new business, she wasn't sure about it, so I said, do surveys. She's like, how? How am I going to get people to do the surveys? So she created a Google form. It had to be really quick, like it had to be less than 5 minutes to complete. She had her questions about, the demographics, with age, gender, country, language, etc. And then her question, but the bulk of it is, essentially, do you struggle with this specific problem? If I gave you this product or service, would you pay for it? How much would you pay, and what are your expectations? Those are kind of more or less the questions. And then also asking people where they spend most of their time on social media. She created the survey, and then what I advise her to do is to go on Facebook groups. Join as many Facebook groups as possible that your clients could be in. And what you're going to do, you're going to engage with those people. So the specific business plan was selling books in children's books in European languages to North America. So she was looking for parents that were trying to raise bilingual children, or parents from European countries in North America trying to raise their children with their native language. So she joined. She started specifically with Spanish. So she joined as many Facebook groups that this demographic would be in. And whenever there was a conversation, she would chime in and try to give her advice. And then what she would do, a couple hours later or whenever, she would message a person that asked the initial question in the Facebook group and say, hey, I answered your question about XYZ. If you don't mind, could you spend a couple minutes completing this survey? She was able to get 100 responses, which is, I think, is the idea, at least 100 responses. You can also pay. There are also platforms where you can pay for a survey. But what I like about this using Facebook groups is that it's a give and take, right? You help someone out, they help you out, and you know who's completing the survey. You know that it's with the demographic, and you can have a little bit of a conversation with them in the Facebook chat as well. Study your analytics. So if you have a website, use Google Analytics. It's extremely powerful. Use tools like Hotjar. So because you have a blog, look at how people are interacting. So Hotjar, you put a piece of code on your website, and then it studies the heat maps. You've used this.
I can defeat it.
You can defeat it. Okay, great. I would love to see it. There are tons of tools. What's great about Hotjar, it's free though, if you have a small website.
I'm aware of that.
Pardon?
I'm aware.
Oh.
No, my insurance company actually was annoyed because I could defeat their Hotjar tracking for going through with the online sign-up process.
Oh, wow.
So they were less than thrilled.
So yeah, study your analytics, quantitative information, quantitative data. Ask for feedback. After you provide a service, if you're giving a workshop, if you're selling an ebook, reach out to people and say, hey, what did you think? I want to improve. Give me your feedback, good or bad. And encourage conversations, online and offline. I see this, one simple way of doing this is on social media. If you're active on Instagram, for example, you put out a post, it gets lots of engagement, people are saying, wow, I love this is great. Don't just say, oh, thanks. Say, things. What do you like about it? What resonates with you? Encourage dialogue. Because that information is going to help you understand what people like about you, what really makes you special, and what you can double down on. Any questions so far?
The other thing too is we're moving a little quickly, and if you don't catch anything, remember you have the slides and the video afterwards, and so you're all set for, if you miss anything, you won't miss anything. You're all set.
Okay, product. I'm curious to know what, with your blogs, with the businesses you're working for or that you have, what is your product or service other than, yeah?
So I was just going to say, I recently tried to create a product with my site. I have an ebook called Local Traveler's Guide to Toronto.
So an ebook.
And I sell that through email marketing primarily. I sell it off my site mostly so I can get the full cut so Amazon doesn't take 30%. But I wonder if it would have been better for me to do 1 week free on Amazon and have that track. In retrospect, maybe it would have been better to get it going on Amazon and have that be something to go about. I'm just saying, I'm guessing some of the people here are interested in creating products like that. I'd be interested to hear what you had to think about that. But I think it was successful overall, but it could have been a hell of a lot more successful, probably.
Yeah, that's a common strategy, right? People put the price really low. Well, the Amazon and a lot of these platforms, the algorithm, it's a popularity contest. So the more reviews you have, the better. So I've seen a lot of people, they will offer it almost for free or very, very cheap. They'll send it to everyone in their network, friends, family, email, newsletter, ask them to get it downloaded for free and then leave a review. They'll do that for like 1 or 2 weeks, and then from there they have a really solid base.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one reason. Anyone else have, yeah?
So my product is myself and my audience.
Uh-huh.
So
you're selling like
on
sponsored
one side, I'm
posts?
selling myself as an expert and a writer, and on the other side, I'm selling access to my audience to say, if you want to get your product in front of these people that are interested in what you have to offer, then I'm a resource for that.
So through sponsored posts?
Yeah, sponsored campaigns is what I do. So it would be, either destinations or experiences and things like that. And I showcase those experiences by demonstrating people doing it that my audience can relate to.
In a way, you're an advertiser.
Exactly. I am 100% an advertiser.
Anyone else have yeah?
So I sell food.
Yeah.
So it's rice, beans, lentils, and it's B2B and B2C. So we have several brands, and then we also deal with just bulk stuff. So there's the product, but then there's trying to figure out how to not get overwhelmed, I guess. Like where's the best place to put my resources and time, and understand all the stuff that you said, the audience and stuff. Because there's so many levels.
Yeah, that's tough.
But ultimately, they're all healthy, vegan, pantry staples. So that's all.
Anyone else have a product that they are developing? You have a podcast.
I have a book.
You have a book.
Yeah. I've been out for a couple. I'm an accidental life coach that came with it.
So when it comes to product, marketing is a part of it, right? If you understand your target market, you can create a product that is for them. So the marketing is already integrated. So when you launch it, it kind of sells itself because it's so good, because it's exactly what people want and what they need. It's a direct response, a direct answer to people's cries for help. So I like the example of a lot of best-selling books. A lot of best-selling books start off as blog posts. And so someone, for example, with an expertise in maybe a travel destination or a way of travel, right? They start off with a blog post, maybe a lengthy one of 2,000, 3,000 words. They get feedback, and then after a couple months, they make adjustments. Maybe they make version 2, the 2020 version. And then that can morph into an ebook. So it's a lot more elaborated. They take all the feedback that they get from social media, from their blog posts, and they create an ebook. Or it can morph into a course or a workshop. Little by little, it evolves and it grows, and and it grows because of people's feedback. Oh, I really like this bit. Can you tell me more about that? Yeah, sure, I'll put in my ebook. Or this was irrelevant. I really didn't agree with you. You get it. People challenge your opinions. You make it more all-encompassing. So a lot of best-selling books evolve from blog posts, ebooks, workshops, speeches. So by the time someone creates this proper book and they pitch it to a publishing company, one, they have an audience, and two, they know exactly what readers want because they've experimented so many times and they got so much feedback and they know what resonates with people. And so what I say to you is, well, here it has, test the fuck out of everything you do. Test it, create something, launch it, get the feedback, collect data, qualitative or quantitative, get conversations going, and then go back to the drawing board and improve, launch it again, get feedback, and just continue that cycle over and over again until you have the perfect product. And I mean, that's kind of the recipe to growing and creating a marketable product. And of course, with all of this, focus on serving your target audience. So when you send out a survey, make sure you send the survey to someone that is actually your target audience, that fits, not just anyone. You don't want just anyone's opinion. You want a very specific group of people's opinions. So focus on that. Okay, now, let's talk about the user journey. This is the online user journey. Anyone know about SEO?
No.
Yeah. Okay, I love SEO. It's my favorite. Oh my God, SEO. So, we're going to talk
I
about
did a
it.
workshop with the CDC before on SEO. We're both obsessed.
Yeah, SEO is great. So we're going to talk about the user journey. So you guys already know this, right? So let's say the only thing I would like to change about this chart is like to make it a pyramid so that the awareness is large and then it shrinks or it narrows down. Why? So let's say you're buying headphones. You want to buy headphones, but you have no idea where to start. You search headphones, and tons and tons and tons of articles come up, or web pages. You click the first one, and they're just a giant list of top 100 headphones in 2020. You skim through it, and you have a better idea. Okay, I want noise-canceling headphones. I want wireless Bluetooth headphones. So now the next stage is that you get more specific. You say, wireless noise-canceling headphones. Now there are less articles, and now they're a little bit more specific. Now you can compare models, Sony or Bose, or I'm not even sure the brands. So as you obtain more and more information, every time you go back to Google, your searches are more specific. By the time you get to here, to the purchase phase, you already know exactly what you want, and companies know that. So that's when they start using online ads and start targeting you, because that is when you're most likely to convert. You're most likely to buy because you're already informed, you know exactly what you want, and you're ready to pull out your money. So I want you to think about your target audience. What phases do they go through to find you? So if you have a business, you're going to be right here. You want your product is at the very end of this, and so you want to think about all the phases, everything people go through to get to you. So maybe, is it a catering company, or you sell an actual product?
No, it's like bags of food.
Bags of food,
Yeah.
okay.
Like at the grocery store.
At the grocery store, so
Yeah.
people are not buying online. Oh, if it's B2B, maybe they search bulk.
Yeah, it's a bulk. We can sell bulk to B2B and then products to consumers.
Okay, so let's say I'm a company and I'm looking for alternative ingredients. Maybe initially I look, okay, I want to learn more about lentils. I know nothing about lentils. I search lentils. What are lentils? What are the nutritional facts of lentils? How much do lentils cost? Where can I buy lentils in Toronto? Okay, bulk, and then the very last stage, bulk wholesale lentils in Toronto. Right? You want to know every phase people go through. If you are a blog, you are the advertiser. So it's a little where I put you, I'm not really sure. I would say that you are focusing right here, right? I think the biggest mistake bloggers make, especially hobby bloggers, is that they aim for right here. Top 10 things to do in New York City. You know how many posts there are about top 10 things to do in New York City? Instead, get more niche. further along here, right? Because like I said, this awareness phase, the content that is here and the people that are searching, the people that are in this phase, it's massive, it's in the millions. And then further along it gets more and more specific and narrows down. Yeah.
I think we're starting off blogging for SEO awareness because we want to bring in the traffic to be able to justify.
What I mean, sorry to cut you off. What I mean is that you want, because the products you are selling, if you are selling sponsored posts, you are the content. You want people to find you here. You are part of someone else's journey. You know what I mean by that? So if you,
I want them to come to you.
Right, I understand, but also depending on the post, it's not sponsored, but it's still a blog post, not necessarily paid by a brand. You could do like, for example, 10 things to do in New York, and then window it down to whether it's affiliate links in there to what to pack for New York, what to, I don't know, I guess you just keep.
but what is the objective of your website? Is it to sell?
First traffic, definitely.
Right, so, but in order to get, so the number one objective is to get to the point where you can sell sponsored
Yeah,
posts.
for sure.
Right, and so what you're looking for, right, is to make money.
I think I'm at the point of selling sponsored posts. It's beyond that, or I don't necessarily want to rely on sponsored posts. I want to be able, my blog to be able to function and
So you have your,
sales on its own. Yeah.
by having your own products and services.
Or whether
affiliate
Affiliate.
advertising,
Yeah,
etc.
exactly.
Yeah, but you would still, in that case, through affiliate links, you're still relying on
And you
SEO
have-
traffic,
yeah, for sure.
and so you're still part of someone else's bigger journey, the
Right.
bigger part, that you're a piece of someone else's big picture. Right, so maybe you write, maybe you have, can you give me an example of an article that has some affiliate links?
Tours, a lot of like get your guide things, like that's a big thing for me. A lot of people book tours through me, but it's not my tour. It's through get your guide.
Yeah.
Sales like that, or
So the tour company, they are at the very end. This is their journal, their journey, and you're just part of it. You're making it. You're creating a shortcut
right.
to their journey, their user journey. You're making it
on their
shorter.
journey, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. So
So
that's what-
she would be in the exploring solutions and comparing vendors.
Yeah.
So people would do the searching, they're looking for the awareness. The awareness is, hey, what destination do I want to go to? What experiences do I want to have? And from then, they go exploring the solutions. What are the best tours in Egypt? And then it's comparing vendors. What are the best tour companies that offer these tours in Egypt? And then you're somewhere in there saying, I am an expert on this, I can give you that information that you need from top to bottom, and then from there you just click on this button and then you can book that tour directly.
So you have to identify what your user journey is. I have one client, their whole brand is house sitting. So they travel the world doing house sitting, they have ebooks, and they have affiliate links. That's super niche. So they're looking for, the big picture is someone, what they're thinking is, okay, someone wants to travel to Puerto Rico, and they're going through this phase, and somewhere here exploring solutions or comparing vendors, they come across house sitting. Interesting, let me research this. And that's where they come in and they create content related to house sitting in Puerto Rico. So as a blog, you have to think there are more layers to it. Yeah.
So I've used bloggers before. So
Yeah.
I've gone to influencers on Instagram, vegan influencers, and I've paid for sponsor posts. And so I, as the person who's on this side, want to come to you guys and pay you for your service, right? But then, do I also get into that part too? Like, as somebody who's selling a product. So, for example, my husband, he's been in this business for 20, barely, like 10 years. Was it 10 years? Because we're young. But he has a lot of experience and knowledge of the business. Like, you know, why did Whole Foods rice, beans, and lentils supplier go bankrupt? Like, he knows exactly why that is. So, you know, I think there's like a lot of gray area here, and where do we fit ourselves in this kind of gray area? Like,
Yeah, because
it's almost like a spectrum, and we all kind of plop ourselves somewhere.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's the internet, so it's constantly evolving, and no one goes specifically through these stages, right? You can jump through it, and maybe you don't even learn about what's, in this case, what is SEO through a Google search, maybe through an email newsletter, or, I mean, this is like our marketer's best way to try to communicate it, but it's quite all over the place.
I also think that these days, a lot of the people who are here also exist down the chain.
Yeah.
And you've got vendors and, final product suppliers that are creating blog posts and that are active on social media, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to direct that entire journey from start to finish in order to, obviously be able to control the entire structure all the way down the line. Some businesses are really good at that. Most of them aren't, but it's certainly something that can be done, and a lot of people find great success in.
Yeah. Any questions about this? Okay, so now let's talk about the specific channels. Like I said, I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty about strategies. We're gonna talk about that when we break out into sessions. So I try my best to kind of put them into 4 categories. So you have social media, and then in social media you have tons of different platforms. Email marketing is its own beast, and it's quite unique. And then with content you have video, so YouTube pretty much, podcasting, audio, and blogging. And then online ads. Online ads, like you said, you have to have a really strong marketing presence, or foundation, I should say, marketing foundation. The product has to be on point. You have to really know who your audience is. And if you're going to do online ads, I recommend that you have a really strong website. You're generating quite a bit of traffic. You have a lot of analytics and data to pull from. You've been at, for example, if you're going to do Facebook, you've been on Facebook for a while, so your Facebook pixel is quite mature. Like, we could go on and on and on. So I'm not going to go into online ads today, because the idea, what I thought was this workshop is that you guys were a lot less, I didn't expect you guys to be so knowledgeable. So the idea is to focus.
I don't have a clue
great.
about this. Okay, so,
You're my demographic. This is my poorly of me, I
when you
don't know
say
my
social
demographic.
media, I actually break out into a little bit of a rash. And, get the sweats. The fidgets start going. It's not pretty.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a lot about social media, emailing content, some of the best practices, a very overview how it works, if you should use it or not. And to be honest, these questions, should you use this platform or that platform, is going to be a lot clearer when you do really good market research. When you've asked your audience, where do you spend your time online? Oh, I hate social media, I only respond to emails. Or I spend all of my time on Instagram, or all of my time on Pinterest. Once you have those answers, it's super easy to do the rest.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Can I just ask you about online ads? Are you referring to Google?
Google, search display, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of it. Social media ads and search ads. And affiliates as well.
I was just going to ask, for like a blogger, market research for me is reaching out to my email subscribers to ask questions, polls and things like that.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about in market research, or am I missing? Like, I could do polls on Twitter, being like, hey, what do you like about me? But like,
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, you talking all of the above?
All of the above. Whoever's interacting with you. Your email list, people that just visit, so go to Google Analytics, which pages are people going to, behavior flow, where they click the most, all of that. You can also go to
That's what I was curious about, the data and the questions around.
Exactly.
Yeah. If anybody's interested, Mars Discovery District has an online course about identifying your target market. It's probably like $50. I took it when it was free, but now they want like $40, $50. It starts on the 10th of February, so if you go to marsdd.com and just take a look, it's, I can't, for business development, I can't recommend the Mars programs enough. So if, they have coaches and all that sort of stuff that will help you through the actual strategy of doing it.
I don't know if you're
part of the Toronto Bloggers Collective, but if you want to post that in the group.
I'm not. Actually, it came up and it suggested meetups for you because they know I'm craving knowledge about social media marketing.
Cool.
Because I don't have a clue.
So, this is just an idea of what we're going to go through in each channel. What is it? How does it work? What are kind of the requirements? Like I said, online ads, you've got to be pretty advanced in terms of marketing to do online ads. The channel audience, what are some useful tools and examples of people that are killing the game in each channel, and where you can find more resources. So let's start. So as a reminder, these are tactics, not strategies. So it's like a spoon, right? A spoon helps you stir soup, but it's not the recipe itself. And so all of these these digital marketing channels are tactics. You have to use them as part of your strategy and reach a bigger goal. So when you understand each channel inside and out, then you can you will be able to combine them, create synergy, and use them collectively to reach your big goal. Okay, social media. Ooh. Okay, so we all know what social media is, right? It's a platform to socialize with people. That's why it's called social media, to socialize. So the main objective of social media, I mean, now it's a business, but originally it was not to be an advertising platform. It was a way to interact with your friends, stalk people. But it's important to remember that, because ultimately, that's what people go to the platform for. People are not going to Instagram and Facebook to look at ads all day. They're going to interact and engage with people. So as a business, you've got to get into that mindset and be ready to do that. It's not a billboard. And I struggle to drill that into like the more B2B clients that I have. They just want to spam people, put their messages out there, but they don't want to actually interact with people, like their content, promote other people. It's quite collaborative. And the algorithm is based on, if you might know already, it's based on relevancy. So it's based on your history, what you search on the platform, what you interact with. If right now I'm trying to learn French, so I'm watching a lot of French videos on YouTube, and now all of my ads are in French, and all of the content recommendations are in French. So this is how the algorithms work. And in order to kind of leverage that, engage with people, get them to engage with you more and more and more, give them a reason to stick around. And then some other social media platforms like Pinterest, ones that are not so developed, the publishing time is also a factor. What are the requirements? There's no cost to create an account. What's the key to this is being consistent, posting on a consistent basis, engagement, and having eye-catching, high-quality content. And so planning is very important, having an editorial calendar. And then, so before I talked about, here's the last one. Who's the audience? So it varies from platform to platform. I'm not going to go into this. I just want to include it so that when I email you the slides, you have access to it immediately. So do your market research, figure out what the profile is, and then match it with the platform. Figure out who would be the best fit. Is your platform predominantly female? Then maybe Pinterest is a better option for you. Understand each platform, the demographics, how people are using it, match it with the data that you obtain from your market research, and voila. That's how you find it's a good fit. Because ultimately we're all small businesses, right? And we need to optimize our resources. You can't do everything. You can't be everywhere at all times. So figure out where your market is and focus on that. Double down on that. You don't need to be on all social media platforms. You really don't. Just pick one or two that make most sense to you. Okay, and some useful tools. So editorial calendars, I highly recommend. You know what these are? So it's essentially, it's a spreadsheet. It can be a spreadsheet where you have a calendar of the month and what you're going to post every month. And you write your captions, your hashtags, you plan it all out. You can use tools like Later, Planoly, Buffer, Hootsuite, Tailwind, the list goes on. And that's where you can automatically schedule it, but also visualize it. I really, really recommend this for social media. And then obviously to analyze, Google Analytics. You're doing all this work on social media, but is it translating to your website? Use Google Analytics. And BuzzSumo as well is a really cool way to see if your content is going viral, people are sharing it or not. Okay, so Does anyone know Gary Vaynerchuk?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he's a beast. Okay, you gotta research him. Gary Vaynerchuk is like the king of social media. So he started off in wine, started a vlog for his family wine company. It eventually went viral. He was on one of these talk shows, and then he started a social media agency. Courtney is also really good. Jay Shetty. These are people who are really, their social media strategy is really good. So I encourage you to follow them, because you could do a course. You could pay $100 to do a social media 100 for a master's. A course in social media, and you can read a book. But the reality is it's constantly evolving, and the best people to learn from are people that are doing it right now. So study the people that are doing really well on social media, and these resources are really good. HubSpot, social media today, they're all constantly creating content. So a little bit more about Gary Vee. So he literally has someone following him around creating content. He has interviews, he has calls, he gives keynote speeches, and he has someone recording him. And then he has a whole team of people he's got a team of people, he's got a whole company to manage client social media accounts, and then he has a team of people to manage his own brand. And so these people take all of his content. If he does an interview, they turn it into a podcast, they transcribe it, turn it into a blog post, and they put the video on YouTube. He has this, every year he puts, it's like almost 100 slides, a whole deck explaining his strategy. And this is one of the decks. So he has pillar content. So the pillar content is like, kind of like the epicenter. It's like the 1 hour YouTube videos speech. And then he turns it, he like gets a little photo and turns it from the video and turns it into a meme or a GIF. Do people say GIF or GIF or GIF? So he turns it into micro content, and then also he turns it into articles. He's all over the place. This guy's insane. And so here he breaks it down, his pyramid. So he has one long piece form of content, he breaks it up into smaller pieces, and then he distributes it on social media to the platform. You know, if it's Instagram, the content he's going to put is more visual. If it's LinkedIn, it's going to be quotes, whatever it is. So he takes his big piece of content, he studies each platform, and he distributes the content in a way that best suits each platform. It's crazy. It's really intense. Yeah. Okay.
I have
Now,
a question.
yeah.
One of the things that I find hard, and we just touched on it a little bit, is the return on investment.
Yeah. I hate
So-
social media.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
so
know.
hard to, and that's
But
part.
there's no ROI.
It's really hard, right? And it comes, or it could come in a year later, you know, and
Yeah,
it's
there's
really
no
hard
ROI.
to.
I think social media is great if you have a personal brand. If your company, you're the face of your company. Because like I said, social media is meant to socialize with people. Nobody's going to socialize with a logo, with a company name. They're going to socialize with a person. So in that case, I think it's great. So Gary Vaynerchuk, it works. But if you're a company, if you're Coca-Cola, you have money to invest in it, and what difference does it make? But Lush, for example, I don't know if Lush Canada did this, but Lush UK is not on social media anymore because it just doesn't make sense.
I think I disagree with what you're
Sure.
saying.
No,
Obviously, in a fair way.
don't believe everything I say.
Yeah, like social media is so important. So even like for you as a brand, you're in the food industry. You don't even have to participate. You can just listen, so you can kind of see what your competitors are doing, and whatever your competitors are doing, if they're doing it successfully, you probably want to do it better than what they do. So to me, I think in that way, it is important.
Yes, yes, for sure. But then also, if you're just listening and you're not keeping up, then you're going to be behind a lot because while they're creating content and attaining followers, you're just like listening. So
You have to pick the right channel, I guess,
Yeah.
too. And then you have to respond to your customers because
Yeah.
that can get
I think a lot of it comes down to brand recognition as well.
Yeah.
If you're on there, like one good example I can find that's a logo, but also gets ridiculous engagement for what it is this company called Grip 6. They're a belt company. A little belt here they gave me when I was at an event last week. And never heard of them before I went to this outdoor retailer conference last week. And I went down there, and of course I come back, they're all over my social media because I met with them and I tagged them in a post. And, I was blown away when I looked at their Facebook ads that were coming out. And there was like 200-300 comments on an advertisement for a belt. And they engaged with every single one. They've got a loyal following of people who are looking for something a little bit different, and they've built it into a community. And I think that's where social media can really be leveraged, as long as you've got the resources to dedicate to that. And that is the big caveat, is it comes down to resources.
Because they're doing online ads. That's
Exactly.
a big push for them. You think if it were just organic, they wouldn't be able to have that sort of reach or
100%.
impact. And it's like you gotta be very creative. Like not any company is gonna thrive on social media. Your product has to be cool and interesting. Your messaging has to be different. You gotta stand out. You gotta have personality, and you gotta have the resources. It's a long-term game.
That's right. 100%. It's a long, slow game.
I just wanted to add that I think it's like the one thing I've learned is that you've got to be corporate in your approach and your stature, but human in your dialogue. That's the big thing.
If you follow Chris's Twitter account, it's all his voice, and he gets, I don't know, 20 or 30 responses compared to mine, which is very corporate, very,
People are desperate for to speak to people, the human being behind it. And I think it's like that's the one thing I see when I see a corporation that when it looks like it's a message to everybody, I turn off. When it looks like it's a message to me, speaking to me, I tune in. So I think that's just something I wanted to add in. I've seen it tremendously in the last year, especially just like that personal tone is invaluable.
Yeah. It's the social aspect of being on social media. Is that you're actually trying to talk to people and not push your message like a radio station. Yeah, I could talk about social media for days, but I don't like doing it.
Then you wouldn't.
No, I don't. I do it for myself, but I don't like doing it for other companies. It's also the cheapest area of digital marketing, so it's not very profitable. As a digital marketer, doing digital marketing agency. And because there's no ROI, it's hard to prove. So how do you prove your value? It's a long-term game. And email. What's cool about email is that there's no algorithm. This is like incredible for marketers, is that it's all on you, right? And there's no third-party influence. So it's essentially sending mass and automated emails. If you have a really good platform, you can automate these emails based on behavior. If the person opens the email, send this email afterwards. If they click here, send this email. You can get really, really personalized, and that's really, really cool about it. You can personalize it based on behavior, demographics, interests, how they interact with the email, or depending where they signed up. And the aim here is to get a high click rate. So once you have an email marketing platform, it'll give you statistics. People like to brag about their open rates, but anybody can open an email. Not everyone is going to interact with it. So the ultimate goal is to get a high click rate. And then of course, the bigger goal is to get people to actually do something after the email, right? But sometimes it's not immediate. So a lot with email, the idea is to nurture someone, to make them go through kind of like a maze in IKEA, go through multiple phases, build a relationship, and then make the sales pitch 5 emails in, 8 emails in, or however emails in. What do you need? So you need a little bit more than social media. You need a landing page, so ideally a website. You need an automated email marketing platform like MailChimp, for example. Depending on the place, you need to know about the data privacy laws. You can't just email anyone that emails you. So living in Europe, it's very strict, the GDPR. And you gotta have really strong copywriting skills. The headline, the subject line, that is really difficult, if you can nail that, if you can understand how to write a subject line that people are going to click, you can make lots of money. Who's the audience? Literally everyone. And mostly mobile users. So I don't know, my mom has this tendency, every time she goes to Old Navy, they're like, do you want a 10% discount? She's like, yes, please. And they're like, give us your email. And she gives the email, and she never checks her email. Who does? Me. And all of the emails from Old Navy are these giant photos, and they don't load. Don't do that. Don't have lots of photos or videos. Keep it just text. Keep it simple. That way it's easy for any type of internet plan and every mobile phone. And some useful tools, here are some names that you can work with. Okay, so here's an example of an email marketing strategy. Okay, so let's say I have a blog, I have lots of great quality content, but I don't want people to leave and that's it, disappear for the rest of my life or their lives after they visit my blog. I want them to hook them in a bit. So I have one blog post that's like SEO for food blogs. And then there, I say, if you want, I think it was like, if you want like an SEO planner for your food blog or something like that, like a downloadable, give me your email address and then I'll send it to you. And it's an automated system. So people put their email address in, and then immediately after they get it downloaded. And then what happens is they go through a funnel. I'm not trying to sell a specific product or service, but with a client I would do this. So I give you the product, and then afterwards, if you open the email, I send you maybe another downloadable, maybe an ebook, something of greater value, or a discount. I give you something else. If you don't, maybe I give you a different type of piece of content, product, whatever. So depending on your behaviors, I give you different types of content, different messages, and different offers. And the whole idea is to get people to stay with you. And then in the end, you pitch them. So you don't pitch early on. You don't say, buy my ebook immediately. I give you treats and presents and value and keep you on. And you're like, ooh, I like this person. If this is all for free, imagine if I were to pay for this, what I would get. That's email. That's in brief, like very quickly, that's an email marketing campaign. People that do this really well, the Hell Yeah Group, it's a very small accounting firm, they're really good. And there's this author, a lot of life coaches do this. This is huge. And there's one, Gabrielle, she's really great. And some resources where you can get more information, MailChimp, MailerLite, ConverterKit, all of the email marketing platforms, they have really, really good blogs with really good advice. Because they want you to succeed, right? If you win, they win. Okay, content. We're almost done. What is it? Obviously, content is, like I said, is we all have it, right? Blogs, videos, or podcasts. And the key to success with content is that it's extremely high quality. It's so good, I want to share it with everyone. And it's also a popularity contest, right? SEO, a big part of it is a popularity contest. It's to get backlinks. It's to get people to refer to link to you. YouTube as well, it's a little bit of a popularity contest. Podcast, you want to get reviews. So building an audience based on the fact that you have personality and it's something really valuable to say is going to make you succeed. And the best way to do this is to be an expertise in something, because you're going to have to be able to talk about it a lot and to great lengths. So in other words, you're gonna have to create long-form content, rich content, right? It's not just an Instagram post. It's got to be bulky, meaty. You need a hosting platform. You need a website to have a blog, or you need a hosting platform to have a podcast, or you need to have a YouTube account. You need to have production equipment and skills to do podcasted video and blogs. You need to have a blog. You've got to be good at writing. You've got to know SEO, and you've got to maybe have some graphic skills. The audience, again, it depends on the platform. It's up to you to do your market research. And here are some more tools to help you learn more about that. Okay, so there's a little bit more about the demographics. So blogs, everyone is on blogs, but it's typically an older demographic, around 40 years old, that are devout blog readers and followers. But again, this depends on your niche and what it is that you're talking about. YouTube is. This again depends on the country. Here are some demographics for YouTube and for podcasts. This is more just for you to have as a resource later on. Online ads I talked about. Okay, so which tool is the best for you? Depends on your audience. But less is more. You don't have to be everywhere. choose 1 to 3 platforms, 1 to 3 channels, and figure a way to get them to connect and talk to one another. Think about, we talked about the user journey on how people use the internet. Think about your user journey. What do you want people to do when they enter your website? I imagine but first you also have to know how people are entering your website. So if you go to my website, the home page is an email newsletter form. And someone asked me, why did you do that? It's like, to be honest, most people don't enter my website through the home page. I've looked at the analytics. Most people are entering my website through my blog post because I'm getting organic traffic. So they go through my blog post, they read it, and then they go to the home page. And then I ask them for their email address. So understand how people are using your website currently, and then manipulate their behavior accordingly. Pardon?
Sorry.
No, if you have a question, let me know.
I'm exactly the opposite. Landing page, then to the post.
So then it's up to you to figure out how do you want to manipulate, persuade people's behavior. I really don't like how websites are being made nowadays. There's a lot of content. I think it should be really simplified. Less is more. There's a company called Meetable that they just got a bunch of funding, and they were all over the news. If you go on their website, it's amazing. It's so nice. It's like every screen is just 1 or 2 lines, and then as you scroll down, you get another couple lines, and all together it tells you the story of the company. And you actually read everything because there's not much to read, and it's all visual. But people have so much text, and realistically, you don't read anything. So then you want people to. You think people are going to read it and they're going to understand or whatever information that you're putting out there, but people are not. So you don't really know what information people are taking in. So have less, and you can,
Isn't that for content though? I mean, don't you want that kind of content for SEO?
That's for blog posts, but I'm talking more about like your home page, your about page, your services page, but even your content. Are you using headlines? Are you making it scannable? But yeah, this is. Every website is like, I always say, every website is its own world. So figure out what you want people to do. Imagine it's IKEA. Which departments do you want people to go through? And what is the end goal? Is the end goal to click the affiliates link? If it's so, design your website in a way that emphasizes that highlights that. Or is your end goal to get people to contact you or sign up for your email newsletter? Whatever it is, design your website with that in mind. And use your channels accordingly. So this is exactly what I said. So whether it's your website or all these digital marketing channels, remember what the end goal is, and get them to all work together. So here are some examples of some campaigns. So I had one client, they wanted to promote processed cheese in Latin America, super specific. So what they did is they created this report with information, like really hot information, very demanded information in the industry. They put it in a report, and they created we created a campaign on LinkedIn. So if you gave us your email address, we would give you this report, and we pushed it with online ads. What happened? So you would click the link. It would take you to a landing page on our website. You would complete the contact form, and then you would get the downloadable, and then we would send you a series of emails of the email marketing campaign that you saw, an example of that, and always from the salesperson. So if you ever replied, you would be talking directly to the salesperson in Guatemala or Latin America or wherever. And the idea, the end goal, was to get people on a consultation call. So that's an example of how we mixed email with social or online ads. What else could you do? Social and online ads, email and content by itself. So you offer the downloadables in your blog posts, and then the people follow through an email listing. It's usually the most common combinations. Okay, let's create your 3-month strategy.